Well, as you know, we met in London when we were both students. We both studied at the Royal College of Music in London, and we met there for the first time.
We had the same teacher.
We had the same teacher, and so that's how it all started. And then, we really didn't really keep in touch. We both we left college, and I spent some time in the Middle East. I was traveling for a while, and I think Morgan went back to Mexico, or you were doing...
Well, I stayed in London for about 15 years or so, and then went back to Mexico.
So we kind of lost touch. And then Morgan had been to Zimbabwe for the Bulawayo music festival, which they used to have every 2 years, back in 2000 and...
Gosh, I went several times, but the last one I think was 2010 or something like that, yeah.
Yeah, but I remember he'd been there a few times, and then he couldn't make it the one time, and I think he recommended that the organisers contact me because I was here in South Africa. So I went to Zimbabwe, and then there was like a Zimbabwe connection, and then I came back, and then whilst he was there in Zimbabwe, he was playing with Peter Martens and the Amici Quartet, and they had invited Morgan to South Africa to come and play in their festival at the Stellenbosch Chamber Festival, which was subsequently in 2015.
Yeah.
So he came then, and then because he was playing for the festival, we'd organised a few concerts together. But then they invited him back now, 2018, to play the Concerto de Aranjuez with the Stellenbosch University Orchestra, which you played last week, and it was an amazing sellout concert with him. And so then I knew that in 2015 he was coming in 2018, so that we had a chance then to plan a nationwide tour, which with about 11 concerts over 2 weeks, of which tonight was really the first. Well, apart from the Woordfeest concerts, tonight really was the first concert of that tour. So that's where the Together Again comes from.
Yes. Artistic temperaments. Well, do I have that temperament?
Next question. No, I think we obviously everyone's individual, and that's the great thing about working, with other musicians, is you get the chance to communicate and listen to approaches which you may not have considered. I always think when playing with Morgan, though, because for 4 years we had the same teacher, we studied in the same institution, we were exposed to the same musical influences, and I think in some ways I always say we sort of speak the same language musically. Obviously, there are differences, but that's what making music's all about.
That's good. It's great.
Good, yeah. If we both played the same, it'd be boring.
Yeah.
But it's great fun working with Morgan because I really have to try to listen for him, and we both have to adjust to each other's playing and each other's musical ideas.
Yeah.
And it's great fun.
So there's not really much artistic temperament going on, no?
No.
On a personal level, meeting new people, making new friends, seeing new places, trying new foods, new wines in this case, and on a musical level, you learn so much. Whether it's playing with it's very nice for me to play with James and a fellow guitarist, because I don't normally play with other guitarists. I do a lot of chamber music with string quartets, with orchestras, with singers, with cellists, flautists, and other instrumentalists. But you learn so much from every musician that you share the stage with. It's such an intimate connection that you make, that it's a wonderful experience, and to be able to do that in different countries, different audiences, beautiful venues like tonight's venue, great acoustics here, by the way. Thoroughly recommend it. So yeah, it's a wonderful life and a wonderful opportunity to be sharing music with everyone here. Well, CDs are something. It's a physical object. It's like a book. You can have an iBook or you can have a physical book. What do you prefer?
Physical books.
You prefer physical books. Yeah. I have a record collection, and I like reading the notes, and I like listening to music on my sound system at home. I also download music, but it's mostly for reference when I download. It's just because I need to listen to something, but I don't really listen to music on my phone because the quality is terrible. It's different products, and I suppose it depends on what kind of listener you are, whether you just listen to things as background music on your phone while you're cooking, or whether you really sit down, put the speakers up, and listen to a whole Beethoven symphony. It just depends on what product you prefer. But we can offer both. We try to offer both. Yeah.
Yeah, we both of our whole discography is on iTunes, it's on Google Play, it's on all the major media streaming and download platforms. But in addition to that, there are people that like ourselves that like the physical product. And I think it's important, in this day and age. I mean, for me personally, it's like everything is available online. You can get everything. You can do everything online, digitally, whether it's banking or shopping or whatever. You can just do it online. And the actual process of physically making a CD, and not just getting the actual album up there, but the whole the process, not just the music making, but everything that goes into that. When you own a record label like we both do, you're intimately and intricately involved in every step of the production, from pre-production and pre-thinking about the theme for the album, or thinking, what photography are you going to use, what designer are you going to use, what's the theme going to look, what's the CD going to look like, your licensing issues you have to deal with. Then there's the recording aspect itself. Then there's the post-production, there's manufacturing and distribution, and all those things one has to consider. So it's not just putting it online. It's actually, there's a lot of thought that goes into the product. And actually, at the end of the day, the CD, like a book, it tells a story. It has a beginning and has an end. There's a playlist which we think about when we create, which has momentum and continuity, and it tells a story. And that's why, again, you can download that, or you can actually listen to it as a physical CD. But as Morgan said, it's about offering as wide a variety, and so you can either buy the CD, or you can stream it, or you can download it, whatever.
There's one more thing I'd like to say about recording in particular. I think recording is one of the most important things one should do as a musician, because it is your way of leaving a legacy.
It's your legacy.
It's your only way of doing it. Perhaps teaching can go through generations, but the recordings will always stay there. And I kind of prefer them to stay there physically, rather than them being in a cloud somewhere. If you're documenting things, I would rather them be safe, stored physically somewhere where, if the world ends, someone will find them in 1,000 years somewhere.
Yeah. Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah. We are recording during this tour, and so this should come out hopefully next year.
Watch the space.
Great.
It's been a pipe dream of mine for many years, and actually it's still in the final stages. The trust has yet to actually come to fruition. But the idea and the statement of the trust is to be able to provide some kind of financial support for students who have just graduated or in their final year of graduating from a South African university. So it's not a trust that aimed at beginners or about funding pre-university students. It's about students who've done their degree, they're ready to go out into the world and make it as a musician, because they don't teach you how to do that in college. You learn how to play an instrument and you learn about music, but you actually don't learn about making a living with music. So the trust is basically just a non-profit organization which would rely solely on funding from various individuals and companies and corporations to provide that assistance that students might need or graduates might need, for example, to fund their first album, or to go overseas to attend some master classes, or to buy an instrument or something just like that, to give them a little financial support. Morgan actually has a similar organization in Mexico, Prisma.
Yes, Prisma. For the first time ever, we have been doing our international workshops here in South Africa. We were in Rietenbosch Primary School a few days ago, and in the Kayamandi Youth Center in Stellenbosch as well. Slightly different. We take workshops to schools that don't normally have an arts program. So we take whether it's music or dance or drama or art, and take the artists into the schools to provide workshops for children that would normally not have access to that sort of experience. There's nothing quite like live music.
Well, again, it's like the digital age. We watch YouTube, you know, we watch Netflix. We don't have to leave our house to experience what once was an occasion to go to the movies or to go and see a concert. And I think that whole live thing about going to see a performance and being in the presence of actual physical music making is becoming more and more important in society. You know, we're so used to having everything just on our phones, on our laptops, on our devices, to actually go into a beautiful building like this, to experience, you know, connect with other human beings and to engage with musicians on stage and listen to music being made from physical instruments, not just processed sound.
No microphones, and wonderful acoustics. With the wood here, it's just a unique experience.
It's about that physical, you know, engaging on a personal level with other human beings.
Yeah, for the audience and for us too.
And for us, it's great. I mean, this is why we're here.
Thank you, and good luck for the rest of the tour.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Wonderful success.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.